machine learning. So you see that classification is one of the supervised learning. So what is supervised learning then? How it works that we give them we have the test data first, which like for example we have category 1. If we have this first category 1 data, we can get the result A, and then with category 2, we get the result B. Then we send this test data to the computer, and computer learn how to classify which data into each result. So now it's learn how to that when they get the first category data, they get the result A, and then they get like that. So yeah, let's talk about the example then. If we have the 6 series, Korean series, the first 5 is going to be the test data or the training data, and then we have the predictor or the data about from each series, like the number of hit scenes and hit scenes, and the type of the drama that is for categorized to. So we will see like there might be some rules or some relative between each set of data to the series. And then when we send this test data into the program or computer, it will be able to realize that the new data should be categorized into which type of drama. So there's several techniques for classification, but to cut it short, we select the decision trees. It's because the pro of the decision tree is that it's easier to interpret and can like handle both categorical and continuous data. So let's start with the decision tree. What is it? So to make it like simply, it's just like when you're building a tree with one node and then like split into like several nodes. So it's in tree structures, and then it breaks down the data set into the smaller and smaller subset, which like is like increasing the root of the trees. So our core algorithm for the tree is ID tree. So let's talk about what is it? Okay. To be simple, two tools that we use for ID tree algorithm is one is entropy and the other one is information gain. Entropy is let's say it's the set of data that tell like the importance of information which relate to its size. So when we get the entropy of each like category, it's gonna tell us like how large or how effectively it's gonna affect the target that we want or the category that we want to make. And the other one is the information gain, which is we use to indicate which attribute or which category is the most like effect to the target. So let's go with the example. We see that in this table we have 4 predictors and 1 target. So we want to know that is the effect of weather, temperature, humidity, windy, is gonna affect like how we're gonna play golf or not. To make it simple, we make a rough tree out of this, and we want to explain like which part of it is called. The first one in blue is decision node. So we're gonna use it to like split, like the core to split the trees, and then the branch is how many branch is gonna split from each decision node, and then the left node is the final result. So you see like the end result will be you play golf or not, so it's gonna be yes or no. To explain further from that, entropy is calculated using this formula, but to make it simple, we have the entropy of the target and the entropy of the predictor. So it's a little bit slightly different calculated. So the target we calculate from the target that we want to do, and the entropy we calculate from the predictors. So then after we get the entropy of the target and the predictors, we can calculate the information gain by easily reduce the entropy of the target with the entropy of the predictor. and the result is that the information gain will show that how many how effective is the is that entropy is relating to the target.
To understand more clearly, let's go to 5 steps together. And from previous slide, this is the data information that we will use to explain to understand more. It's about the predictor and the target. This is about play golf or not. Step 1. In step 1, we have to calculate entropy of the target. Target is to verify the factor that affect the people that choose to play golf or not. And in this step, we will choose the number of the people that playing golf and not playing golf. There are 5 possible cases of total 14 cases that people will not play golf, and there are 9 possible cases out of 14 cases that people will play golf. So we use these proportions to calculate the entropy of the target. And then we calculate information gains by use the entropy of the target minus entropy of the predictor. And this is an example of calculations of one factor, which is outlook and play golf. And then we have to calculate our attributes. We have to calculate information gain from our attributes, and we have to compare. So we go to step 3. Step 3, we have to choose the attribute which have the highest number of information gain to be the decision node. And this is what we get. You can see that this is outlook. Outlook is the factor that have the highest information gain, so we use it to be the decision node. And you can see that in overcast, the people that choose to play golf, they all say yes, so it gives the entropy of 0. While the sunny and rainy, there are some say yes and some say no, so the entropy is more than 0. So we go to the 4th step, which is a branch with entropy 0 will be the leaf node. You can see that it's n play yes, all play yes. And a branch with entropy more than 0 need further splitting. We have to split a branch more. And the final, we have to run the same step until all data is classified. And this is all the theory. And let's see, we will apply the theory with the survey.
Okay, let's move on the research section. Yes. Our research will conduct to find the classified decision factor for each group of customers and to formulate marketing strategy based on each group. Okay, as you see a lot of theory, right? Actually, it's pretty simple. This is the raw data, right? Can be car, pet. Do you have car? Do you have pet? How many experience that you have? Accommodation type that you want to live? How many occupants, right? And then we will put it to the ID tree. It will classify the data into the tree. You will see that the one that on the root node is the one that has the most impact on its classification type. It is one we target to classify condominium, apartment, or house. Let's move to another one. Okay, this is the survey data that we have. We give people, our friend, Google form, and we have 137 sample for this one. Right? The variable is mean the occupant, the patient. So the occupant can be, the answer can be 0, 1 person, or 2 or more. How many people who live with you? And do you serious about time? Yes or no? Do you have car? Yes or no? Do you prefer living in a big residence? Yes or no? Pet owner? Yes or no? Working experience, cleaning, and the last one is the accommodation type that you are living, which means condo, apartment, or house. Okay, now you see, right? When we got all of the data, right, and we put it in the ID tree, model. Actually, this one we use a software called Vika software that can process the information and transform it to tree. Okay, the root node is a number of occupants living with the respondent. This one, the algorithm will classify and put it in the root node and top. You can see this is the main factor that affects all of the tree. Because this is pretty large, let's zoom in the first one. Okay, this one is the all of the decision that we classify. For example, one, right? This one is a number of occupant one. I live alone, and I have pet. I mean pets. Yes. This one, do I cooking? Yes. If I cooking, I live in house. So this one can classify the factor for people that live in house. Now we can predict people who live in house, and many kind of a decision tree is listed as above, as below. And let's move on quickly. For the one person, right, if you have decision tree like this, and for the two people, this is the decision tree that we have. You see that this is a lot of things that is very hard to understand, but actually what we want is to classify things. So, for the people who live alone, right, only one decision that's going to this one, to house, is the first one. Now we are classifying things into house decision. For the one person, you see, right, cleaning, big residence, stay, car, experience, and cook, and fall into a house. Let me focus on this one. I will explain this thing more in detail. This is the one that two people or more, and then the next factor is work experience, which is this is more than 5 years. And then, do you prefer to cook? Yes, right? Do you have pet? Yes, right? And do you prefer living in the residence for a longer period of time? Yes. Do you prefer living in the big residence? Yes. Do you prefer, do you serious about time? No. So then I live in house. This is the one decision factor that we can classify from this model. Okay. So this one that we can classify from people who live in condominium. Let me go through this one in the same method. This for all condo.
How is it between one person and living alone?
One living alone is mean I live alone, right? And one person is mean another one. It means I live through.
Okay.
It's a few confusing word. Right? Okay, this one we can classify into condominiums. And this one we classify into people who make decision to live in apartment. Next. Okay, you will see that now we can classify decision factor into 3 categories. And we can see that the higher level is more important or more impact for the decision. Okay, let me try to apply this application, right? So we want to create an advertisement to house people based on the data that we have, right? And our target it will be a new married couple preparing to have a newborn. That means it will have more than 2 people, right? Maybe 3. So see at the arrow, the number of people is most important one, right? And the work experience is lower, cook lower, pet, stay is lower, right? And this one I keep the weight because this one when we want to put in the advertisement, this one must be the most impact. So I keep it 40%, and we choose 2 people or more. Work experience, we put weight only 25%, and we choose more than 5 years. Cook, we should target people who cook and pet. We also target people who have pet. And the stay is mean we target people who prefer to stay in their home, people who stay in their apartment and don't care much about time. Let me go back to the decision factor first. Okay, the thing that I just chose is this slide, which is 2 or more people, 5-year coke, pet, stay, big residence, time, and house. Right? This one will predict people who prefer to live in house, and you can use another factor to make your own target. Okay, let's see how that advertisement should be when we consider all of the factors, right?
ทำไมต้องอยู่ในกรอบของบ้านแบบเดิม
You see all of the weight or all the scene will related with 2 or more people, that means 3 people. See this as more weight. And this guy, this one we target people who have more 5 years of experience. It must be a guy that really aging. Not that aging. Has more experience. Adult. Okay, you see, we have to put more weight into this one because this is the main decision factor, right? The next one is, you see, most of the scene, they will put a lot of people in the scene. And see this, we also have a dog in the scene. That means this is a very small factor that affects. Okay, so we have another factor, which is you can get for the scene cook, right? So you see, this is a very small thing that you need to put which one is the more weight. That's how we apply the decision factor to formulate marketing strategy. Okay, let's move to the next part.
So let me explain how to use these concepts to our independent study in the next semester. So anyone who chose what to study in the next semester? Not yet. That's good. Okay. So actually, yeah. So we studied with this concept in this study, and then what's the benefit of using classification, especially decision trees? This conception is very easy and then very intuitive to explain something very complicated. So we think that we can. It is quite worth thinking to use in the next our semester. So let's move. I will show you the examples how we can use. Okay, in the marketing research topics, one of the major marketing topics is usually to study how consumer behaves. Consumer behavior is quite important in marketing, and then why consumer behavior is very important because it is totally related with actual orders. So we should understand how consumer behave and then how they make a decision and how in the end how they make an order. So these examples. So marketers can design products and then the marketing campaigns by using digital trees. This is one of the examples that I chose. This is a marketing campaign. So this one is somebody the marketer wants to try marketing campaigns on Facebook or Instagram, and then this is another decision tree. This cost $1,100, and the next one is cost $90. So it can be explained in decision tree. So how we can any actual topics we can choose in the next semester? I'll show you. Okay, define potential targets. Actually, it's very important to before starting marketing campaigns, whatever, because we have limited resources and then we have limited time to focus. So we should define potential targets by using decision trees and define the best distribution channels and then define the best ad channels and then define quality of the service. Service is also very important, and there's many components that consist of services. So in the last semester, we have Ajahn Jacob has already mentioned how service consists of, but it's very complicated. So okay, and then that's the define the best location of shops, develop the product functions. It's a product design, and then the last one is develop service procedures. And then finance is also very interesting. It's very interesting to use these concepts in financial topics. For example, capital market is very complicated in that the price in the market is affected by so many variables from all of the market, all of the industries. So in the end, what we want to know from these issues is that which variables affects the market price the most. So this is another example. So the NPV and NPV. Anyone who remember NPV in the last semester? Okay, NPV. Yeah, this is another decision tree that we can make use. Okay. I'll show you the examples. Design business models for insurance products. This is very complicated. This is to design insurance products. Actually, this is professional job. This is a professional job which needs high knowledge of mathematics and statistics. And the next one is define revenue rate for foreign exchange rate. Foreign exchange rates are also affected by so many variables. And the third one is define when to see paid-in capital increase in organization. So to be honest, I have already researched some examples about these topics, and there were some reports from my university in Korea. And then the fourth one is define personal preference in investment. Somebody has very risky style, somebody prefers conservative style. So it's also good for study consumer behaviors, actually, to be honest, consumer behaviors. And then define expected ROI in investment as well. So if you guys want to study research about financial topics in the next semester, these topics can be adopted, and I will recommend you think in the next semester. Thank you.
Any questions, friends? From the research, from the starting point, you select the first factor to be the number of occupancy. Is that because you calculate the entropy of that occupants?
Yes, we didn't formulate that tree. The tree, right? On the top one is the one that has the highest information gain. It will be put on the top.
So it means you did not show it here, but actually you calculate the information gain already by getting entropy of the AT.
Yes. Actually, the one on the top, right, will be the one that's mostly related with our asset, that means condo, apartment, or house.
So that means that the first place from Google Form, right? So you calculate everything first.
No, in the Google Form it's already raw data. We already collect the data in the Excel file, right? And that one is raw data. Actually, it's called CSV file, comma separate. And then we use the software. It's called Vita, right? This one will help us calculate the entropy gain from the data. But you calculate by your hand because we already provide the way to calculate.
Any more questions? More questions?
How can you notice if there is some of the outlier data from the beginning? Can this method notice the outlier data?
Actually, when you interpret the data, right, you have, when you set up the questionnaire, right, you must have some assumption in your mind that which one will affect which one, right? And the way to alleviate the outlier data, you must have a lot of information. Actually, because this one is to build the model, right, and to predict the lab result, that is the actual model. And if you don't have enough data, right, you have the outlier data, this model will have one decision for you, but it cannot predict precisely.
Can I add? Because of in the Vega program, there will be a part that you can check whether there is a model can predict the data correctly or not. It will be shown the percentage. For this one, there will be around 89%, so that we can use to predict which advertisement we can use. But however, if it's quite low of the correction of a prediction, so maybe we have to correct the data or design the survey.
Any more question? So would that mean like, for example, from cleaning, we separate into pets and then big residents. So how would we definitely actually know that we have to really separate cleaning into pets and big residents? How is it?
Which one?
No, the first one on the left. Yep.
That's right.
So if cleaning is go to pets and then go to
This one, right?
Yeah.
Because when you see, when you calculate the data, right, the information gain for each level is not the same. So they will, you will have the information gain for this one, right? And then you have to, it has the word corrective. That means you need to calculate the information gain, and then you put it here because this one has a higher gain. You need to go back. You see, where to go from now, there is a gain that is not equal. So the level of the data that we put in the tree, right, it will depend on the gain. If the higher they have more gain, right, it will be on the top.
Now that to the cooking and then that one must be the same level of gain. Is that what you mean?
Actually, it's not really the same, but it's close. You mean for somebody sign this one, right?
Yeah.
This one,
Is that what is above, right? And
yeah,
then
this one has gain, right? But this one is, it's like when you calculate at the end, right? These are the people who choose pet, cooking. The rest of them will choose house, and then it will end at this one. But if it's not choose house, it will have to recursive and find the information gain again.
So your question is about the location of that. Are you talking about an example? This one or this one?
yeah, I mean from like from the middle level, like from cooking to big residence and then from apartment. So it's like I think this one is not very clear, very reflect my question.
This one, the gain are not the
Yep.
same. Yeah, because it's conditional, not the same. It depends on the software. Because it's actually first link, second link, third link, fourth link. It could be the fourth link, but fourth link it might not have the same gain. It's not like until the graph, another link is not the same scale, but it might have another link. So because everything all conditional. It's more like almost like free diagram. It's very hard to make exactly the same. It's almost impossible to understand.
Sorry, just wanted to know, like, so when you're concluding an answer, so does the program evaluate all the variables? I mean, does it include all the variables to factor? Like, what's the optimum answer?
Sorry, again, optimal answer, what does it?
Like, I mean, like, for example, in the first structure, you have two different variables, right? For example, pet is cooking and car. So when you come to the end of the tree, does the answer already like include all the other variables? Like
No, actually, see this one. Okay, you see this branch, right? This one, the person who lives alone, right? And most of them will that answer pet. They have pet, right? And then they also love cooking. They will choose to live in house. So that means from this group of people, the main factor for them to make decision is only two. And then it's not all the factors. But you see there are many decisions. This one is only one decision or one group of people that can classify into a house.
So the program that you are using, you can really see, like for example, who live in condo from 5 factors, like 5 years, more than 5 years and live in condo. The program will be able to really tell it as the amount or know the amount of the size of the group, right? That's what his question was about. Like,
so let me just define it. Like, for example, if you, like how he said, like, if you want to choose a career, and then you have different variables included, like different factors which are included to know which career you want to choose. So I want to know, like, if it just fits into 2 different ways, how does all these variables link to your final answer? You conclude that these are the variables actually affecting your final answer.
In the decision tree, right? It doesn't have to depend on all of the decision variable. Because, for example, one people, right, they choose pet, and they choose cooking, and the last answer they choose house, right? And the next 10 people, they choose the same thing. Even though they also answer the other questions, the model can predict that if we have only 2 data, we can conclude that they will live in the house. This is how they make decision.
To make it short, you can break it, but the percent of how the control remains the same. So that's no at the end they actually include every combination, but if you break it down, the answer hasn't changed. So that's why they have to break it down. That's it. Because only the important ones will actually show up. But important one means that we have to actually minimize entropy. Right? Entropy is always varies. For example, you actually make a rules. If that group is good, most of them have to focus on only one group. If they spread in many some house, some condo, some that actually have high entropy. So entropy, you can think of that as some kind of varies for categorical data. Alright, so gain is actually how much you actually sacrifice the entropy from the X, and then minimize entropy for house, condo, response. So that's what it means by gain. Alright, same concept, similar to K-mean. K-mean, you want to minimize variance from cluster. It's the same thing. Alright. But sometimes you let the program actually choose which one to come first, which one to come after, based on the game. Alright, but sometimes you can also force so that the first branch to be like the number of the people who live in there, because maybe it's easier to manage. Alright, because at the end you have to think like the factor of like which one is more important, easier to manage, and more accuracy, those kind of things. For example, like if you flip on the 3 or 4, next one. And like for example, do you prefer this kind of tree? I mean, for accuracy, maybe it's good. But in terms of planning, in terms of policy planning, because it's too complex. Right? Too complex that can help with accuracy, but too complex can mean it might be harder to make sense of something like that. Right? But this kind of thing is something complex for you, might be simple for someone. Any more questions? One key thing about this is that that you can see that for clustering, you want to have a cluster, you want to resolve it to be assigned the group to observation. Alright? For factor analysis, you want to have many variable, you want to have some kind of a group of factor. Alright? In this one, the result is not the groups, right? It's actually the rules. Given that if they choose this, they're supposed to be in that category. You see, the results are so totally different. Alright? Okay? And time series is actually you want to make a forecast on something that's changing over time. Alright? This is for classification, it's more like making a forecast on the profile of the customer. If given that what we have here, what kind of product they're going to buy, something like that. Alright? I think that this four advanced techniques would give you some kind of good idea on what to do for analysis. Alright? Alright? Okay? So next week we have another exam. Alright? Okay? So good luck for studying. And next time we meet, we'll be on different side, right? Anyway, it's just kidding. Alright? Okay, I'll stop here for today. Alright? If you have any questions, you can talk to me.